Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Luxury Podcast, your source for all things luxury and lifestyle. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Brett Larkin on the line, and she's owner over at Uplifted Yoga. Brett, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about the benefits of online yoga classes. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your business. So tell us a little bit more about Uplifted Yoga, please.
So Uplifted Yoga is an online yoga education company, so people can take class with us from the comfort of their home, through our mobile apps, their TV apps, or they can actually take the next step and train to become a certified teacher through us, again, from the comfort of home.
Man, I love this, and I love the concept because the comfort of home, I mean, who doesn't want that, number one? And I feel like people are more likely to complete what they start with that. So let's just get right into it. Benefits of online yoga classes. I mean, where do you want to start with this one?
There's so many. I mean, when you're practicing at home, you have the ability to pause, to rewind. A lot of people are self-conscious when they're starting yoga. So for people who are just beginning their journey, I think having the privacy of your own living room to sort of experiment with some of these postures is critical. And then for people who want to take the next step and teach and make this a career, it's very challenging to find the time to do a 200 or 300 hour certification program outside your home, especially if you have a full-time job or kids. So what we provide is a really high-touch online yoga experience. So you're watching pre-recorded content, but you're also live on Zoom with me and my guest experts and my TAs for up to 9 hours a week. So it's incredibly high-touch and interactive.
Wow, that's amazing. And I like the part that you say about self-conscious over here. I was like holding my mouth because I'm like, don't laugh, because I can remember my very first time walking into a yoga studio being so scared. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have not had to do that and I could have done it online, or if I would have known that even existed, what a different experience.
Oh, for sure. I hear that a lot. And one thing that's been so fun for us as a company is seeing how many people who you wouldn't traditionally think of as yogis come to our programs, whether they have bigger bodies or even disabilities, or they're doctors, lawyers, nurses who can't, take the traditional, in-person type of format training. So that's just been so rewarding.
Oh, that's amazing. What kind of responses have you heard? Because, I mean, you've been doing this for a while now, so this is, so just to be clear for everybody listening, I mean, you've trained a lot of people. What kind of responses have you gotten from this?
People love the training. I think a lot of folks come to yoga at a time when they're feeling stressed and they want to make a big change in their life. But there's not a lot of structured programs that offer you the opportunity to go through a transformational experience that includes the body, the mind, the spirit, if you want to go there. And what's so cool about our trainings is that it gives you a framework, right? The framework of yoga and these ancient teachings, this Vedic philosophy, and of course the physical practices, to really give you a resource as you step into the next highest version of yourself. That's what I think we really see people craving and then leaving the program with. More confidence, more clarity, maybe excited to make a big pivot in their life.
Let's talk a little bit more about the teaching aspect, and the teaching aspect for those that want to. So, because first off, I'm 100% sold. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, just even especially for beginners, or whether you're more advanced and you already know this, but for the beginners out there that have always wanted to try it or want to kind of get involved, I mean, this is really a great way to do it. Let's get into the teaching a little bit more. If somebody wants to become a certified instructor, tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Well, if you want to become a certified yoga instructor, there's what's called the 200-hour yoga teacher training, which is sort of like your bachelor's degree is how I explain it to people from other industries. And then there's a 300-hour training that you do on top of that for a total of 500 hours. And that 300 is kind of like the master's degree. So we offer both of them through this high touch, high interaction, your practice teaching with us on webcam, because there's a lot of yoga certifications out there online. I started doing this 5 years ago and there were none. But now there's so many. but we're still really the only one that offers this high-touch, two-way experience instead of just watching videos at home. Because the reality is just watching videos one way on a screen, you're not going to really feel confident to get out there and go there and, lead a group of people. You need to practice. You need to build up that confidence. So that's why people really gravitate towards our program.
Oh, that's awesome, and I do like that that you keep stressing the importance of high touch and what that means and that two-way interaction and what that looks like, because I do agree that's the difference between in my opinion that's the difference between somebody really connecting and kind of following through and sticking with it in my mind.
I know for me, what I saw having done so many trainings myself over the years is that so much of the training was just people lecturing. And I wished it had actually been online, because I would have loved to rewind, to, hear what they were saying a bit better. I got really drained by the end of the day. So we split all our videos into like 20-minute chunks. So it's just really manageable for people instead of like an 8-hour day in the studio. But then we keep, the parts that are so great to have high interaction, teaching and having me give you feedback, for example, going through and, making sure you end class on time. We do this round robin where everyone has to teach a little segment but end on time. These are the experiences that people are going to have when they actually audition to teach out in the real world. So we're prepping them for that.
That's awesome. So, Brett, that being said, if somebody's listening to this and either they want to think more about classes or even about your certification and they want to learn more about uplifted yoga, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with your brand and business?
They can either go to upliftedyoga.com or they can go to brettlarkin.com, which is just my name, BRETTLARKIN. All the info's there.
Awesome. Well, Brett, really appreciate you coming on the show and telling us more about the great work you're doing over at Uplifted Yoga. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this from the comfort of your YouTube channel at home, definitely give us a subscribe there. But also leave us some comments on the video, and much appreciated. And Brett, thanks again for coming on the show.